everybody. What is up? Welcome to Utah Cannabis Club. Ready to get the show on the road. It's your boy Seth.
It's Javi.
This is Gabe.
And this is JJ.
Man, and today we are going to be discussing what, gentlemen?
Hey, we're going to be locking in on methods of consumption, proper storage when you can buy cannabis, how to identify good quality cannabis when you're going into these
like
pharmacies.
Quality management in a whole.
Nice.
Yeah.
Quality control.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
There's a lot that goes into buying cannabis, and the shops that you walk into are very stimulating. They have so many options that you can choose from, and the way that most, I would say, what would you call it? When it's a full state, most states, most rec states,
most medical and rec states. Where both markets are open. Yeah, it's crazy.
Sorry,
yeah.
this garlic cocktail got me spinning a little bit.
Shout out
710. Hey, taking care of the boys today.
For real. Keep going.
But a lot of the markets in today's time curates a menu that's based around shopping for THC, and that's where a big problem starts. And I think that's one thing that we can start bringing some attention to for you guys, to kind of start bringing a little bit more clarity when you're walking into a shop. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I look at when I go into a shop is what? Harvest date, right? It's going to be bad.
If we're talking flower.
I mean, it depends on what your
and
consumption is, right?
Exactly.
When you're going to a dispensary, first and foremost, right, it's choosing the type of dispensary, right? When you're, it's important to choose what type of shop you're going to, right? It's almost comparable to when you're going grocery shopping, right? You're not just going to go to a random grocery store and just start walking in and just grabbing stuff, right? You're going to choose a grocery store that you're familiar with, right? You're going to choose a ma and pa shop. You're going to go to an organic dispensary, right? So as you choose these dispensaries and these shops, make sure to kind of choose these different types of shops according to how you shop when it comes to groceries. So don't be afraid to, test out the waters when you go shop. That's kind of important too. So you'll notice like MSOs, you'll notice like different dispensaries. Choose one that aligns with your values, right? Choose one that aligns with you. And there's going to be a multitude around, but in Utah specifically, right, where we're limited to a few, there are a few that you can choose from that do align with those values if that's what you're looking for. And then on top of that, the type of consumption that you're looking for is very important too. Not all offer the same, so.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the most standard forms of consumption are inhalation. So that's going to be your vapes, your concentrates, and your flower. Most of the time, you can also do a lot of things with flower,
right.
but digestion or edibles, and that's. Anything that is edible. And then you have sublingual, and that's going to be your tinctures, a lot of the mouth sprays. And then you have concentrates. Well, I mean, which is that is inhalants. But yeah, those are the most common form, and topicals as well.
Nice.
Topicals are big too, but that's the main forms that you'll see when you walk into a dispensary.
Yeah, so, and in my opinion, for all of those products, always looking at batch ID and when it was produced will always cross-correlate with quality. So that's why I like to use that as a good consensus when you're going into a shop. What was last produced? Because you guys mentioned going into a grocery store, and that's a very, very beautiful point to make when you're looking at a living organic.
You want the fresh shit.
Yeah, you want the freshest.
You don't want that old, grimy,
you don't want that bread that's going to expire in a couple days.
Moldy raspberries.
Yeah, so being conscientious of when this living organism was harvested, when it was put on the shelf, how long has that tomato been sitting with the rest of the tomatoes? And that's the thing is, we here in Utah, we have a couple of different pharmacies and grow operations that have produced some really nice flower, but we have a lot of flower on our shelves that ends up sitting. So being conscientious of, I always talk to flower because flower is my favorite, but it goes with all products.
And when it sits, it degradates /
Oxidizes, transforms,
oxidizes.
changes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone stores their things very differently too, right? So when you go into a shop, it's important to ask those questions, right? Like Gabe said, batch ID is really important. Harvest date. When you're looking at flowers, since flower is kind of a lot of people's general consensus for consumption, or even vapes, right? Knowing that what oil is produced. Are you getting botanicals, right? Are you getting cannabis derived, live resin, right? Rosin, right? Those are all important factors, especially when you're kind of putting your health into the equation. You want to do what's best for your health at the same time. Sometimes the best bang for your buck might not be the best, and sometimes the best bang for your buck is good for your health. So that's kind of the things I look for, is kind of like Gabe said, harvest date, looking at the flowers, sometimes making sure you do want the freshest, so it's okay to ask, in my opinion, your bud tender,
And I do want to shine some light really quick on the vape realm. The lower echelon, the one that's mainly bought by consumers, is a distillate with a botanical. And I think a lot of people are conceptualizing what a botanical terpene means. When there's 10,000 terpenes that we have access to now, a lot of them are curated for perfumes, colognes, and we don't necessarily know what their combustion and the carcinogen reaction comes from when we consume that specific botanical. So here at UCC, we always advocate for finding the true mother plant. Find the cannabis derived. If you can find a live resin, cured resin, those carts are the carts that you're looking for. Of course, hash rosin carts, solventless, anything.
CDTs. I mean, even a distillate with a cannabis-derived terpenes would even be
good quality distillate, even, right?
Yeah, good quality, exactly.
Yeah. So that's one caveat that I feel like is kind of brushed away, because we utilize those terpenes in vapes, and that's like one place that they are utilized so predominantly, and how we are using them in any markets today is we have seen how they're reacting, because the nicotine market was very loose when it initiated. When vapes were first coming out, people were trying a bunch of different flavors, and this is kind of how we've accumulated the botanicals that we're utilizing in these cartridges now. So I did want to shine light on that really quick.
Yeah, I love that, because it gives more light, like you were saying, on the manner of how it was produced.
Yes.
So, like you're saying, like all those things that are, on a scale of like low grade, mid grade, and high grade, it's a lot of it is high grade, because even with flour, going with an organic grower, people who use organic methods for their grows, it's the same thing as buying organic at the store.
Yeah.
We don't want any pesticides that we don't want or that we don't know of in our body. Everything else that they do to commercial fruit farms.
Yeah, and I think that leads us into the next point of storage and maintenance, right?
Yeah.
For all of this, because all of it falls under the umbrella of organic, because it is derived from a living organism, so it has a natural degradation to it, especially when it's isolated. That's
So
why
this is, once you buy your product, what are you doing after to help maintain its potency and freshness?
And to help curate the environment that the shops are trying to curate in their vaults, that the production facilities are curating in their vaults and in their rooms, and at the farm for the temperature gauges and the light exposure. Those are some of the topics that we're going to be helping shine some light on. This is kind of like my little niche. So I was quality control for a little while, and I had some really good experience in the industry being quality control. And one thing that we really shine the most importance on is exposure to light. So light exposure, even from an LED, is not good. Light degradation is a main attribute for terpene and chlorophyll degradation. So your bud will start to turn an opaque yellow, and it will start to oxidize, and that's ultimately what's happening. Is it's starting to oxidize, and it's a living plant, so it's still reacting to the light system that's in place. And another thing is heat. Keeping your flower in a cool, dark place, not damp. Don't get it damp.
Yeah, not moist. Not moist.
But a cool, dark environment is going to be the optimal place for you to store your flower. Another thing for concentrates is keeping it in your fridge or freezer, depending on viscosity of the product. For when I refer to viscosity, I mean shatter, crumble, solventless hash, like fresh press. Crumble and shatter, they can be in the fridge, but like fresh press and like real 6-star hash, you should keep in the freezer, in my opinion. When you take any product out of the freezer, allow it to thaw prior to coming out.
So on this 710 Labs container right here, they got water hash, freezer, 35 Fahrenheit, between 40 degrees. Negative 40. And then rosin, 40 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 47. Are you sure it's just not in between 40 and 47? And 35 to 40?
So this is just for quality to be at the very best.
Yeah.
For you to utilize
so it's between 35 degrees and 40 degrees for water hash. No, that's just the dash. So like between.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It wouldn't be that drastic. Negative 40 degrees. No, it's just 35 to 40 water hash. Rosin 40 to 47, and solvent just less than 70.
Nice.
Solvent products room temp less than 70. So that's just like recommended by 710 Labs.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah.
So rosin in the fridge, water hash in the freezer.
Yep.
And solvent products you can keep at room temp.
Yep.
Like
under
BHO.
Stable.
Yeah.
They're stable at room temp.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about like fresh press, is it's a stable product.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out 710. That's what we dabbing on right now.
Yo, that's 710 boys.
What's your favorite? We got the garlic cocktail
and the
garlic
Garlic
cocktail, Tropicana grape cake, and the Gack smoothie. I would say the garlic cocktail grape cake for me.
Nice.
I love the garlic, and that grape comes in right at the end, giving it like a sweet note. It's delicious, super good. But that doesn't, undervalue the Gack. The Gack is
it's like a Jamba Juice smoothie.
Yeah, Jamba Juice
really good.
smoothie, sweet straight off the bat.
Mine's the Gack. The Gack for that reason.
The Gack
that
smoothie.
That's that fruity, smoothie. Straight up from Jamba Juice, like
no, bro. Smoothie.
Smoothie. Smooth.
Hey, pull that up again, man.
Smooth.
That's smoothie. OGs make better OGs.
Yes, sir.
But yes, and you're going in on, light degradation.
Yeah, light degradation. The next would be heat. Heat, and then the next one would just be oxygen exchange, making sure that you're keeping your humidity levels proper for your plant not to get too wet or too dry.
So speaking of that, going on that, do you recommend like the humidity control packs like Boveda?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Go into that.
I don't like Bovedas.
What's wrong with Bovedas, bro?
So Bovedas
or Bovedas.
Bovedas.
So when
Bovedas.
Boveda Bovedas.
Bovedas.
So when you look at what a Boveda is it's salt initially. It's a salt derived product. Cannabis and salt will never mix, and when I say that because a lot of terpenes are.
What is the prime ingredient in those little packs? Like, what is it?
It's a salt crystal.
It's like a salt that keeps it supposed to hydrate, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like, if you can't eat it, why, like, put it in your type thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like...
Oh, the gel silicas?
Yeah. No, not that.
No, but still,
does that keep the freshness of the bags or something?
That keeps the humidity out.
Yeah, of the bags, right?
And these Bovedas are supposed to,
What's in a Boveda?
control it and not, like put moisture in and also take moisture out. Keep it at a certain percentage.
Yeah. So it's a pure water and natural salt solution. And ultimately, why they have the salt is so that way it doesn't vaporize so quick. It creates a humidity that they're shooting for of 63%.
It's a smart idea.
It's a smart idea, but the issue with it is terpenes are volatile. When you expose them to too much moisture, if you guys have ever opened up a full pack and you smell it and it's had Boveda packs in it for too long, it smells like cardboard. It smells like cardboard. It neutralizes the smell completely.
It takes them.
Yeah, it takes them. I don't know where the fuck it puts it.
It puts it in the little pack, bro.
It's a terp stealer.
Yeah.
I think it has like its functions in some products, because obviously they work for some products, but I feel like if you have a really good product that's taken care of well, it's processed well, and it's contained well, like you don't need those.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
So it's not necessary, exactly.
And this is where like we talk about like all the way from the farm, they're curating an environment for the product to sit in for it to be optimal when it gets to the user. And that's why the harvest state is so important. It really goes down to that, is we are working with a living plant that we need to be as fresh as possible. And that's also having like MSOs be more conscientious of the flower that they're curating.
So if you had like a big bag of edibles, would you put a Boveda pack in that?
No.
Keep the edibles nice and moist.
I like me a dry gum.
Hey, I'll put a loaf of bread before anything, dude.
So what's a good way, recommendation to store gummies? Or edibles?
Edibles.
In your tummy, dude.
No.
That's great.
So, edibles in my...
But for the people that can't, just store them all in their tummy like me,
Dude, you eat the whole pack.
I would eat
the whole bag.
I could eat 3 bags, bro.
Exactly.
In my opinion, I still think that they should go in the fridge as well, where they're so easily influenced by heat, where THC doesn't coagulate very well with the gum and the sugar that's used. It ends up sweating a lot.
Okay.
Especially if it has a minor cannabinoid composition with it. So if you've ever bought in like an active or a sleep gummy, you've noticed that sometimes when they get hot, they sweat a lot more and they clump together. And that's just because it has so much complexity in the molecular structure that it's just not sitting properly.
That molecular.
Hey, fuck all y'all. Hey, I did my best. Y'all knew what I was saying.
That's on it.
Throw your edibles in the fridge.
Exactly. Same thing if you have chocolates.
Yeah.
You have that chocolate. Shout out Reese's. Just get us a Reese's edible.
Yeah.
Anyways, chocolates, cookies. All candy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, hard candies you can do pretty good.
You can leave out. It's like a Jolly Rancher,
Yeah.
Keep it on the table. In a little glass bowl.
As long as you got your AC on and it's not 90 degrees up in there.
Yeah, you'll be alright.
Or mix it with some Shrike.
I'm dead.
Yeah, do it to double cup.
Yeah, no. Tinctures as well, it's same thing,
You want to keep those in the fridge too.
You can keep them in the fridge, or you can keep them at room temperature in a dark
cupboard, cabinet.
Cool dark place.
Cool dark place. There you go.
There you go.
Cool dark place.
Just with your flower, just keeping your product.
It's like your vape. Don't keep it in your car.
Oh yeah, don't
Keep it in your pocket. You know what I mean? That fluctuation.
anywhere that's gonna be hot.
Right. Going upside down, constantly flipping, leakage, things like that.
Being on the
right?
side, because a lot of people have those batteries that they just they
Back to
pencils.
Back to the tinctures, though, one really fun way to utilize the tincture is you can start incorporating it with food. So let's say that you have a patient that is having a hard time eating or having a hard time taking medication, but they're eating consistently. you can integrate it into their food, and you can have that be an implementation that's a little bit easier for them to integrate. So you can cook with tinctures, and I think that's a really beautiful implementation that they have. For so many different people, RSO falls into that same classification. You can cook with an RSO as well. Spaghetti is an amazing way. Anything that has a lot of fats, it makes it easier to palletize when it's a little bit of a fattier course. So like menudo, you can put it in menudo and it'll taste really good.
Or even like the salsa for your tacos.
Yep.
Just the salsa.
Yeah, you can. So there's ways that you can do it. Just make sure that when you do it with salsa, heat it up on the stove first. Don't try to do this cold.
They'll separate.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really cool ways that you can end up using tinctures. And I think that's a fun way to do it.
100%.
Hell yeah. You can also include them in your favorite lotion or your balm if you have pain.
Yeah, speaking on that, like how do you store your topicals? Same thing in the fridge?
Fridge, yeah.
Or at room temperature too. Depending on them.
But Javi just brought up something really beautiful that's even...
Yeah, the
like
topicals
crazier.
with your, like, say you use Tiger Balm. A lot of people that have pain that have pain, they use Icy Hot or Tiger Balm. You can throw in your tincture in there and mix it up, and that makes a great topical. Plus, you also know the dosage.
Yeah.
If you're using a whole dropper, you know they typically
Just
come with
intake it
dosage.
dermally.
Yeah.
And so why this works is because a tincture is a decarboxylated product. What that means is that they've already activated that THC molecule for you, so it's easily receptible by your body for intake. When you're using it to make butters as well, you can use it in a pan. So let's say that you melt down like your favorite butter, you can also throw it into that pan, re-solidify it, and you can use it to cook with in like a butter that you make like another brick out of. But you just now, and now you can cook with it like edible wise as well. Fun ways to use your product.
Yeah.
Really fun ways to use your product.
Being creative with cannabis.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Well, that's about gonna wrap us up today for UCC. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the support that we've been getting the last little while. We appreciate the 35 followers in the last
Just
2 weeks.
Wow. Everyone.
2 weeks, yeah.
If you constantly listen, appreciate.
Videos too.
Yep. Thank you for actively engaging with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listening
showing
to
us
of
love
course.
when we go into spots and like recognizing that we are trying to advocate for the Utah culture, and it's all love. That's what this comes down to.
And a big shout out to the people sharing us, sharing the podcast out.
Yeah.
I see a few of y'all sharing us.
Yeah.
And that's sweet. Thank y'all.
Shout out Drew Boho Bakes.
Hey,
Shout out
shout out
the
Boho
dog.
Bakes. Ooh.
We're trying to get
That's
you
the
on
homie.
here. We know you be listening.
Yeah, for real. Thank you to all the people that listen to us. You know,
Thank you to our supporters, for
exactly. Everyone who supports us. If we don't know you, we'd love to meet you.
Yeah, we're
You already
active in
know.
the community.
Yeah.
Reach out. I'll do anything.
You heard it. We're on
Instagram. We're on Instagram at utah.cannabis.club. Make sure you follow us there.
Yeah.
Check us out. Like all our posts.
We'll touch more on this subject too, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll definitely come back and around the block and visit this topic again, because as the market continues to grow and as the scheduling starts to happen, people are just going to start. Hey, maybe cannabis is the thing for me, right? Maybe it is my go-to medicine, and
at that point, it's welcome to the club.
Exactly. So as we continue to move forward, we're going to keep just providing as much information as we can with what we know. And again, we're just fellow stoners, fellow users, fellow patients. We use
Sharing
it on
our
the daily.
experience and our recommendations, and we appreciate you guys listening in.
Constantly tuning in. So catch us on our episodes that drop every
Thursdays.
Come on now.
Yep.
So
make sure to tune in, guys.
yeah, missing a few members today, but next time you'll hear 'em. We out here, man. It's your boy Shaq.
It's Javi.
This is Gabe.
And it's JJ.
What it is?
Peace out, y'all. Woo!